Harry's Wife, part 102.92. In and Out. A delicious In-N-Out burger, as liked by Harry as part of his treat for being a good ginger bollocks. Plenty has been said about the clusterfuck that was the Variety interview and accompanying video. But let's find out more about what other people think about it by going to Mail Online and an opinion piece from Maureen Callahan. The article commences with the headline, "The Duchess of Despair and Endless Grievance rebrands. Harry's wife is the phoenix rising from the ashes of the Molotov cocktails she keeps throwing." We are never, ever going to escape Harry's wife, are we? Right on the heels of her disastrous profile in New York Magazine's The Cut, in which she compared herself, never forget, to Nelson Mandela, character trait requisition, revision of history, lie, Harry's wife is back with yet another cover story, this one for Variety. And guess what? We're in for a rebrand. Now, of course, Harry's wife is a chameleon. She's the tempting vamp, then the bananatarian, then the indulgent mother, then the highbrow politician, the authoress, the fashionista, the foodie, the travel blog, the fashion icon, the oppressed member of the group of people of colour. Lots of different situations where her narcissism dictates that she can be this, then the other, and then something else. And it simply doesn't matter. She does not sit there thinking, oh, I've become something else, gosh, dear oh dear. No. All that occurs is that her narcissism continues to cause her to shapeshift, if you will, into these various personas in order to continue to seek the prime aims, to continue to assert control over the readership, the viewership, to draw fuel from them, to continue to get hold of those character traits and residual benefits. We narcissists are chameleons. Certain things remain fixed about us for much longer periods of time. For instance, it might be that a particular narcissist supports a particular football team and remains consistent in that because the narcissism dictates that that's appropriate. But then we see others who can readily shift from one football team to another. Now, I make the point, as I always do, because there are some people who are a little hard of understanding, just because you might switch football teams doesn't make you a narcissist. What we do is we examine the behaviours over a sustained period of time to make a determination as to what that person is, and we may well see that that confirmed narcissist shifts football teams because that's a symptom of their narcissism. Similarly, just because somebody has been one thing and then another, that again doesn't mean that they're a narcissist. It's an indicator. But where we've determined that that person is a narcissist, the fact that they keep portraying different personas to the outside world is part of that absence of a true core self, and that everything on the surface, part of the construct, can shift and morph and alter as needs require. Some parts rarely alter. Some parts change as quickly as a prostitute whips up and down her underwear. The article continues. The Duchess of Despair and Endless Grievance now wants to be known as fun and silly, but also very, very smart. Most assuredly not a bimbo. Not at all like her most recent podcast guest, Paris Hilton, who Harry's wife said she had judged for being a bimbo. Hey, we're all just women trying to lift up other women here, am I right? Exhibits her hypocrisy. Our Harry's wife is nothing if not a phoenix rising from the ashes, even if said ashes result from all those Molotov cocktails she keeps tossing. The Queen's funeral, replete with the sidelining of Harry and Harry's wife, is firmly in the rear view. And despite Harry's wife's actions to the contrary, you know, that Oprah interview in which she said a senior royal was racist and that the palace didn't care that she was suicidal and pregnant, Harry's wife really loved the Queen. Contradictory behaviours once again. Certainly, in terms of female leadership, she is the most shining example of what that looks like. Harry's wife told Variety, "I feel deep gratitude to have been able to spend time with her and get to know her, and I continue to be proud to have had a nice warmth with the matriarch of the family." You'd never know that Harry reportedly rebuffed 2 invitations from the Queen to visit shortly before her death, or that his brother reportedly remains incensed with Harry and Harry's wife's repeated betrayals, or that King Charles is holding the titles of Prince and Princess for Harry and Harry's wife's children in abeyance, possibly until the damage from Harry's forthcoming memoir and the couple's Netflix docuseries becomes clearer. Oh, and about that Netflix deal. One this couple has been trying to defang since Her Majesty's funeral. Wouldn't you know, Harry's wife, avatar of kindness, authenticity, love, goodness, and meaningful change, is already backpedaling. She and Harry really have no control over their own show. You see, actually, apart from starring in it, they have almost nothing to do with it. It's nice to be able to trust someone with our story, Harry's wife says of Liz Garbus, the Oscar-nominated director of her docuseries, even if it means it may not be the way we would have told it. But that's not why we're telling it. It's not. Netflix gave Harry and Harry's wife a reported $100 million production deal, yet these two have produced almost nothing since signing back in 2020. Sense of entitlement, absence of accountability. Their requisite pound of flesh is long overdue. Harry's wife's establishing plausible deniability here. She just thinks we're all too stupid to see it. We're trusting our story to someone else. Blame shifting, she goes on, and that means it'll go through their lens. Yes, Harry's wife, that's how these things work. Today's Harry's wife is all about joy, and she wants you to understand that. It's all she spreads, love and light, people, love and light. She has notes for any actress who might play her in the future. Not that she's saying for the Crown, but maybe the Crown. I hope that in preparing for the role, she finds the softness and the playfulness and the laughter, the silliness. I just hope she finds the dimensions. Seriously, who speaks of themselves this way? Well, I'll help you with that, Maureen, a mid-range narcissist does, who's ensconced in complete delusion. The problem with this rebrand is that, like everything Harry's wife has to say, it's meaningless. Well, as I've explained repeatedly, she is the Duchess of Industrial Beige, Queen of Word Salad. We're still left with the same old Harry's wife and Harry, self-obsessed and completely and totally out of touch. Case in point. While the days of comparing herself to Mandela are long gone, now we're keeping company with Gloria Steinem, whom Harry's wife cringingly calls Glow, and reminding us that she quoted Eleanor Roosevelt in her high school yearbook. Harry's wife, you see, is intelligent, Mensa material. According to her self-report, she's good at Jeopardy. She plays Wordle and Scrabble with a timer. She was once fluent in French. She doesn't watch TV for mere entertainment as the rest of us, the great and washed, do. No, she's in search of watching great storytelling. In short, Harry's wife is as insufferable as ever. She speaks of her and Harry's packed workdays, do exactly what, she cannot say, zooming and whatnot from their vulgar $14 million 16-bathroom Monte-Shit-Show mansion, while lecturing us on eco-warriorhood, hypocrisy, contradictory behaviour. Here she is, our bimbo emeritus, frolicking in her garden, barefoot in designer dresses, flicking her Cartier-adorned wrist just so, posing with that typical Harry's wife expression of beatitude for our own latter-day saint, parting the clouds and descending to save us. It's all so unoriginal, so Angelina Jolie circa 2008, mirroring character trait acquisition. Navel-gazing chattery aside, Harry's wife's here to promote her poorly reviewed podcast, Archetypes, which is about as fun to listen to as her boardroom pitch. It's really about dissecting and unboxing these labels, these tropes that try to hold women back and define women as one note, she says. It's important and okay and perfectly normal to be a multifaceted human being. Heads are surely rolling at Spotify, which paid these two a reported $25 million back in, 2020. 2 years on, and they have 4 formless, content-free, dated, hectoring, joyless episodes to show for it. Harry's wife is the epitome of falling upward. She has convinced herself that the world cares what she has to say, naturally because of her delusion, because she's just such an original thinker, a groundbreaker, on par with the Elon Musks of the world. Not some D-list actress who lucked into marrying a world-famous royal, preaching from a platform that's wholly unearned. Her lack of self-awareness after all this time remains staggering. Well, it doesn't to those of us who know what she is, Maureen. A true legend in her own mind, Harry's wife remains our number one try-hard, a woman who burns all the bridges she purports to build, an incessant cheerleader of vagaries that have zero practical applications. To wit, the purpose of her podcast, she says, is to open the door for really meaningful conversation. Because I think once you turn meaningful conversation into action, game changer. Again, fridge magnet platitudes. Harry's wife has had a global platform for nearly 7 years now. In that time, her accomplishments, best I can tell, are down to writing inspirational words for sex workers on bananas, the bananas of empowerment, grossly and callously inserting herself into the Uvalde, Texas tragedy, see parts passim, and successfully isolating her husband from his family while lobbing all kinds of vile accusations, claiming total disgust with the royals while clinging to those titles for dear life, see parts passim ad nauseum. But hey, game changer. And of course, Maureen has the measure of all of these behaviours. But let's take a quick dive below the line to see if any of this resonates with the good burgers of the Daily Mail. What do they have to say about what's reported on here? Claudine 4. She managed to tear her husband apart from his family, typical behaviour, of course, that of the narcissist, as you know, for the purposes of making him easier to control, caused global upset over their disgusting accusations, and then go on to talk about how much warmth she has with the Queen. Does she honestly not realise what she's done? No. The short answer, Claudine, she doesn't, because her narcissism prevents her from seeing it. Staggering as it may be, that's how it works, and it has to. Detective Mo. In short, Harry's wife's as insufferable as ever. Yup. Stacey 1500. Very accurate assessment of someone who just can't get enough of herself. Telling it like it is. Can't wait till William's kids become adults. These two will fade into oblivion. USA golfer. Just ignore them and hopefully they will go away. Lila Crow. I applaud you for getting it all so right. Thank you. Missing Reagan. Best article ever. Pambo. Brutal and not yet wrong at all. Hit the nail on the head about the Duchess. I've never come across a more out-of-touch individual. I do not understand the continual attack on her husband's family. Well, again, I'll help you with that, Pambo. It's because every time they come up on the radar, her narcissism has to control them. She can't do so directly. They are painted black, and therefore she does so as a consequence of smearing them. So that enables her to get the indirect assertion of control. Leap Lamp Lover. So we're supposed to believe that all she has chucked at the late Her Majesty the Queen, the royal family and the people of the UK over the past 2 or 3 years, which is a bit of softness and silliness on her part. This woman is certifiable. Sheehan, I concur. Trip Jackson, there have been 7 articles on Harry's wife since 12:30 p.m. today. You could keep throwing her face at us, but we will only dislike her more. Luwan, what a great read. Yes, the audacity of Harry's wife is endless. Stacey rocks. She seems wretched and judgmental. Jenna Clare reads like a masterclass in Harry's wife. And on it goes. Naturally, of course, Harry's wife's narcissism will just brush that all to one side. More bots will be fired up to say, she's lovely, great interview, oh, she's so in love. And she will reside within that deluded castle of her own invention as she continues to sink and go down and down and down, yet she doesn't realise it. As Maureen Callahan quite aptly summed up, she flings the Molotov cocktails and only ends up setting fire to herself. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.